When I was young, I always wanted to be the center of attention, and whenever my parents had anyone come over to the house, I would run into the room and do like a cartwheel, and then I'd start singing, or I'd jump up on the couch and start singing for everybody. I used to watch like the award shows on TV, and then go up to my room after and like stand there in front of the mirror in my room with like a hairbrush or whatever, and like pretend I was accepting awards and stuff like that. Like I don't know, it was weird. My childhood, I always thought about what it would be like to, to be winning awards, or to be in front of a whole bunch of people singing. And I used to stand on my bed and sing "O Canada" and just like visualize. And it all happened, and it's so funny to look back, because it was like something in me knew it was going to happen, because I used to also like walk down the street. Like I'm like 7, I'm like walking down my street, and I'm like totally thinking of people taking my pictures, or I feel like I'm being watched. Like, so it's really weird, it's really weird to think back of the thoughts I had when I was younger. It's quite interesting. I always loved singing and acting. I was in I went to church, and I was in the Christmas concerts, and at school I was in the plays, and outside of school I did theater. So acting and singing was just kind of what I wanted to do, and I just liked performing overall. Yeah, it wasn't ever, like now, like these days, everyone wants to be like famous and be a star, and I was never like, oh, I didn't even know what Hollywood was, and it was like, I wasn't thinking, oh, I want to be famous, I want to be big, whatever. It was just like more of, I want to sing, and it came from that. So it was just all natural. Like, I didn't know what a record deal was. I was like 15 when I sang for L.A. Reid, and he was like, I'm going to sign you. And I'm like, okay, what's a record deal? Like, I didn't know anything. It all just like happened for me. I wasn't like out there like, I want to be a rock. It just happened. Just a really magical time. I was 15. I went to New York because a producer, Peter Zizzo, saw a videotape of me. He's like, come to New York, let's do a demo. And like the day I'm there, I'm with my parents, and then the word got to L.A. Reid, who was the president of Arista Records at the time, that there was a 15-year-old girl who could really sing. And so next thing you know, they're like, come to the studio tonight, you're going to sing for L.A. Reid. I'm like, who's L.A. Reid? And then I sang for him, and he was just like, he goes to me, I was just having such a bad day, and you were like the sun. And he was like, he's like, you have one of the best voices I've ever heard. And I was just like, my jaw dropped. I was like, yay. And he went downstairs, he left, and then everyone came in the room, and they're like, woohoo, and they're like throwing me up. They're like, you're gonna get signed. And I'm like, cool. And it was just, I didn't know what anything that was happening. I was just like, wow, I get to make a record. And I went back to school, and I said goodbye to everyone, and I packed my bags, and I moved to New York. And I had really strict parents, and for some reason they let me like actually do it, like, because they knew it was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But to like let me leave school and to move to New York, like a different country, crazy. I started working, writing, and it was the first time I was really writing like professionally. Like, I had written by myself when I was younger, but like I only had a couple full songs. The other stuff I have is just like little ideas. So I started working with people for the first time, and it just took like a while for me to figure out, because I was so young, what I wanted to do. We did a lot of stuff, and I didn't really feel, it didn't sit right with me, like, wasn't, and I was trying to figure out who I was. So I left New York. It didn't really work out very well. I went home, And then I went to LA, and then all the good songs started coming. Then I was like, all right, I want to rock. And like I was working with Cliff Magnus, and we were writing Losing Grip and Unwanted. And then I worked with The Matrix, and we wrote like Complicated and Skater Boy and I'm With You. And I got to the stuff I was writing, younger stuff, and it was more me, and I was incorporating my stories and my experiences into these songs, and it all worked out. And it only took a couple months, and my record was done then, out of a whole year process. And yeah, when my record came out, and Complicated was #1 for like a million years, and like Skater Boy was #1, and I'm With You was #1. I had no clue what #1 meant. Like, I don't remember feeling like, oh my gosh, my song is because I didn't know what it meant. Like, I didn't know anything about charts. I didn't know at the time, like, really how lucky I was. Like, I knew that everything was great and it was all just so crazy, but like, it wasn't until after my record was done where I was like a little older and I started learning the business, like, wow, to sell like 15 million records and to have 3 massive #1s in a row is like incredible, and I feel so lucky. On Under My Skin, I didn't really have that much of a vision. I kind of just went right off of my tour into writing the record, and it was done in 6 months, and I put it out, and it did well. It sold 8 million records, and then with this record, which I feel is my best record, my new record, called Best Damn Thing, I gave myself like a whole year before I started working on it. I knew exactly where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do with it, which was I wanted to make a really fun record with a lot of energy and bring out that side, that, you know, fun side, you know, youthful side, like crazy side that I have, because I love to just be on stage and rock out and have a lot of fun, and when I spend so much of my time on tour, like, I want to have a ton of fun, and I don't want to be so serious with like darker songs and more mid-tempo stuff. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from, was my tour.